is Margaret Forbes-Hamilton, and I am the chairman of Torbay Urban Forum, or THAAP for short. You can make of that what you will. And THAAP intends to provide a platform for those who wish to voice their opinions freely and ensure that those opinions are heard and listened to by those who make the decisions. I'd now like to hand over to my Deputy Chair, Susie Colley, to chair the body of the meeting and introduce the speakers.
Thank you, Margaret. Good evening, everybody. I'm sure I don't need to introduce myself to Mr. Nick Bye, our Mayor.
My fellow Americans, ask not what your borough can do for you, but ask what you can do for the borough of Torbay. I'm more than happy now to take questions on that or on other issues.
I am called Max. I'm a living being blessed with a soul, and I'd like to take this opportunity to tell the Mayor and everybody here present that I do not consent to the Mayoral Vision. I do not consent to the Torquay Harbour Area Action Plan. And my question is actually to people on the floor. Is there anybody else here who feels that they do not consent to it? And would you like to stand up and say so?
Yes, certainly. I do not consent to the Mayor's vision in Torbay. James of the Can family.
I'm Tim of the Can family, and I do not consent to the Mayor's vision in Torbay or the Torquay Harbour Area Action Plan. For and on the record.
For on the record, I'm Nick of the Devon Clan, and I do not consent to the Mayoral Vision. I certainly don't consent to what's being done on the seafront.
Thank you.
My name is Mr. Lewis. I don't agree with the Torbay area action plan for the seafront for apartments to be built and the banjo to be obliterated and generally lose some of the wide open vista available now around the theatre.
May I ask you, Mr. Bye, who actually owns the area there where you wish to have 2 blocks of flats, luxury flats, and they're private on, I think, a park, aren't they? So who actually owns...
May I interject there?
Yes.
Could we leave that for one of the other speakers?
Well, Mr. Bye said he's open to questions.
Any questions, he said?
I think...
That is land that, as I understand it, belongs to the council.
Belongs to the council. Does that belong to the people, the Torbay residents? Or does it belong to the council?
To the council, but the council clearly is accountable to the people at Torbay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How do you know everybody's enjoying it, sir?
Well, when I came down there, I'm popular.
For the last 3 weeks, I've been down on the front, and I've been meeting people every day down there. And I've been discussing the project that you want to do, particularly Princess Gardens, where you want to put your blocks of flats. Now, I've not met, of probably about 2,000 people I've talked to, which I'm sure you haven't. You might have organised children to come to meetings and stand there and sing beautiful songs and how wonderful it all is, because I haven't got your power to organise people to say yes or to look happy. But they all, besides about 3 people, of all those people, like what you're doing. Now, how can you account for that when you stand there and say so many people want it? When the truth is, I actually go on the street. I saw you on the street. Can you remember I met you? And I said, here he comes, the Mayor, didn't I? Now, you saw me walking towards you. Now, what was I doing? I was talking to the people that day. And all those people, all of them, besides 2, maybe 3 at the most, were quite disgusted with the idea that you could possibly, even possibly think of touching that bit of ground. And for 7 or so years, or 6 years, that fence has been there, down there on the front, saying it's dilapidated. You could have been, and you could still be, could start tomorrow, get people working on that slowly. It could be a 5-year project. You don't have to spend billions, it'd be a 5-year project. You could have done it 7 years ago, whoever was the last mayor or whoever was the last person. So why haven't you done these things? Instead of bringing in private enterprise, which Mr. Parrock I know is jollying behind,
Could I ask you to summarise, please?
I beg your pardon. Well, I think you've heard my summary. Thank you.
Absolutely not building anything at all. Not on the gardens, but I accept it's a very sensitive site that deserves a quality solution.
Thank you very much. I think I understand where you're coming from.
Thank you very much indeed.
You've got a choice here. I can either whip through this PowerPoint very, very quickly, or I can be very painstaking and take you through each one bit by bit, depending on the level of interest. But
Basically, I'm here to talk to you briefly about the Torquay Harbour Area Action Plan, which is a statutory part of our planning process. It's called the pre-submission version, and this document's been prepared in stages, and we're quite close to the end now, where we get to the point where this is submitted to the government for eventually examination and then final adoption. So, some brief words on what it is. It's part of our statutory development plan. It has a sort of 20-year period, and it will be the basis for planning decisions in the harbour area. I'll put these up for you just to digest. So, it's self-explanatory because a number of you here, I imagine, know what's happening, but the strip, I don't think the point, the strip down the middle, in the front here, is the further development, potential further development area. That's the bit that you may touch. That's the pavilion, and that's the area which we see as considerable potential for development. We have to keep our options open. This is a plan covering the next 20 years, and I'll come on to some figures a bit later on, but those of you that have listened to Steve Parrott's presentation earlier in the year, last autumn, will be very, very aware of the cost involved in actually bringing that front up to the right standard, if indeed you can do it as it stands. But I think the view is that something much bolder is necessary. We're currently looking at different ways of raising the value of the area sufficient to generate enough money to actually do that work. And you're absolutely right, you raised before issues of, you would have seen from previous presentations that the developer who's interested in the site has been exploring the possibility of buildings along the front part. There are definitely issues about impact on views and so on. But in this plan, we're keeping our options open, which is why it's referred to as potential further developable area. Because it may mean we may need something there. And I think it has to be recognised that we may not get all the funding simply from developing the sort of marina car parking.
Forms are available in the libraries and connections office, that's correct?
Yes, that's correct. There are, in each library and each connections office, you will find paper reference copies, paper comment sheets, paper...
Well, I think I'll take a walk. Don't care about the rain. But I don't want to talk. I just want to get away. Down by the sea, watch the waves roll. Look up at the stars. In this place you can feel you have a soul. There's comfort in the harbour. In this place you can feel you have a soul. Did you hear that voice? There's no demons here, just a hungry ghost down by the pier. In this place you can feel you have a soul. In this place you can feel you have a soul.